Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Devil May Cry 5, Dante Must Die, S-Rank walkthrough. This is Mission 7, it's called United Front, and this is a really fun mission. It has to be said though guys, this mission took me about 4 attempts. This is the first mission that I would consider is difficult to S-Rank. And it's only really difficult because the devil-triggered Proto-Angelos, the guy that looks like Nilo Angelo, that enemy is completely unbalanced and nonsensical, and outside of a couple of really effective strategies on him, he can be so difficult to deal with, and he does ludicrous damage. If he hits me when he's devil triggered, he'll kill me in one hit. I can't even begin to tell you how much he's really frustrating, and he just has too much life. It's one of those things. He's an enemy that already has a ridiculous health pool, and then when he gets a 50% defense boost, if he does that when he's at full life, you're going to be fighting him for 10 minutes. And that's the real difficulty of this encounter. It's just a really long fight. And I think the reason why it is so long is because it's predicated on co-op. It's one of the missions that you share with V, and V can actually help you do it, but he dies so quickly, and I don't think there's a way to revive him. If you could revive him, it'd probably be really interesting, because when Shadow knocks somebody up into the air and starts comboing them, you can combo them too. And you can do really cool shit. It's undeniable though, the best way to deal with that Angelo guy is to ragtime him, stun him, and then use the Buster Breaker on him and break the arm. And then ragtime, stun him, Buster Breaker, break the arm. And I think if you do 2 of them like that, you'll probably kill him. But that being said, that's a whole lot of arms just to go through one guy, and your style might not be too high, but if you get to that point, I think your style should be fine, so you shouldn't have to worry too much. Coming up right now is going to be the first evidence of an enemy spawner, which is kind of an interesting gambit. So this spawner is going to be generating the Sin Antinoras, which are the dudes with the cleavers. This is a very bothersome enemy, who one-on-one is really easy because you can do a lot of really fun things to. Depending on how long you want this fight to be, will depend on if you attack the spawner or not. You can usually get, I think, maybe 2 or 3 of these guys, and then start comboing to get a little bit more style. But I'm just going to use Gerbera's wonderful, cheesy, and very effective style acquisition by breaking it. And then I'm just going to fight these guys. Once again, with Nero, you can grab them when they do that armoured run. You can also do the shuffle to iframe through it. You can do quite a few things. You cannot grab them, though, with the Buster Bringer, because during that move it doesn't work. But afterwards you can leash them towards you, which is really useful. But the first run just then, I get 5,300 style points. That is not enough. We need 6,000 to win, but with the 1.2 modifier, that is okay. As long as you keep above 5,000, you should be okay, guys. And this level has a lot of enemies, so you should be able to keep way above it. But this room is quite interesting because it's an enemy spawner with a bunch of riots, and the reason that this is difficult is because the ceiling is low. Whenever the ceiling is low, it's difficult to keep them off camera. When you can't keep them off camera, they will attack you, and they can do some wonderful anti-airs, so be very careful. Because I did this a few times, with varying degrees of success, I don't know which run this is. Some of my runs in this room were really interesting. I did a lot of cool stuff. Other ones, I played like shit. I'm hoping this isn't one of the ones where I played like shit, but it probably is because that's how it works. But just keep one in the air, hit him with what you've got, try and get your revs, try and do your moves, shoot your gun, do some taunts. Just stay away from them. And never attack on the ground, especially when they're devil triggered. When they're devil triggered, they'll eat it and just hit you through it. Isolate them, keep them off camera, and hopefully you've got the arms and the tools and the ability to do a lot of cool things. And then when it's just one of them, feel free to maybe do some of the moves you weren't able to do on the other guy. Like, I should really have triple S right now, but I don't, and it's unfortunate. There we go. That wasn't too bad, actually. It wasn't the best, but it was okay. So how did we do? We were on 5,300, so that time I improved my average by 300 points. Which is to say that fight was better than the previous one, which is a good thing, because you need that average to go upwards. When it goes downwards, all you're doing is hurting yourself. I'm not going to do this fight because I'm going to hurt my average. So if you come over here and you bust that, you can then run back towards the stairs and then carry on. And the fight coming up here is another one with a low ceiling. If the ceiling here was a bit higher, this fight would be one of my favourites in the mission, but as it stands, it is really easy to get anti-aired by Antinoras. So at the beginning, there's going to be a spawn of 2 of these guys. I'm going to try and kill the enemy spawner as quickly as I can just to try and make it a little less ridiculous. If you're losing out on points and you need a bigger fight, and you're good enough to not get killed, feel free to let this thing just keep pumping dudes out. But I think that this is a difficult fight because of the ceiling. Like these guys, the Sin Caners, they're perfectly fine. I like these guys a lot. But the other dudes, they run at you from off camera, dragging the cleaver. It makes a very distinct noise, and then you have to deal with them. But at the moment, they're quite passive, so we're just going to proceed to hopefully do some moves and build some style. I should be using my arms here, but I don't think I fully realised when I get to swap them out. And my frame rate's really bad in this room too, guys, so apologies if this looks a bit weird. It feels weird, trust me. That's why I'm not hitting any of my exceeds, is because when the frame rate starts to change, sometimes it helps me, and other times it just makes me just miss them all. Gotta get that PC upgraded, guys. Can't be playing in this 80 frames per second environment, even though it dropped down to 50 at one point. Jesus Christ. But here we go. Couple of guys. Everybody's devil triggered now. One of the things that I'm curious of the efficacy of, is it worthwhile just standing around and waiting for the enemies to devil trigger, and then beating them up? Because then you have the maximum amount of time to do all the fun shit with them, don't you? Because they're not going to die anytime soon, because they've got jaws like Rocky Balboa. Here we go. So it wasn't the baddest of fights. I got to Triple S. We were at 5,006. So there you go. 5-8. That means that fight was also better than the last one. If only I could do this with Dante. Even though I feel like I'm doing the exact same as I just did then, but I'm being punished. Mission 10, guys, I can't even begin to stress. If you get Mission 10's S rank quickly, you got really lucky, or you're amazing. And I hope you're amazing, because then you don't have to struggle on it like I've been struggling today. But this next fight coming up is really good. There's one part of it I hate. Midway through the fight, it's going to spawn a bunch of those tentacles, and if you stood on the ground when they spawn, it knocks you up into the air. It's super bullshit. It doesn't hurt, but it sets you up for combos from everybody else. But we have a couple of Pyrobats, so I'm going to focus on them. Whenever you see a Pyrobat going to attack, if you pull it towards you, it will interrupt what it's doing. And then it's just all about camera manipulation, and then just going into your standard bread and butter combos. There are times when I don't often do the right combos or do the combos I want to do. I get all caught up on doing shit, which is really frustrating, but what can you do? Play better. And try your best to do as many ground combos before you have to go into the air. When you fight, for instance, the Riots, you don't get a chance to do much of the ground stuff because of how dangerous they are on the ground. Once you're in the air, you're kind of limited to roulette and standard combo and caliber and things, and all of those are very good, and if you're good at getting max axe, they're even better, but some of the ground stuff is really essential for just mixing it up and getting to that Triple S quicker. Like right now, I'm just trying to get some distance and just trying to hit this guy. Look how high this ceiling is, guys. Look how fun this is. You give me a high ceiling, I'm going to bounce a dude off a girder. That's just how this is going to be. And be careful of that. You see that? Ridiculous range. So, get rid of these dudes if you can. There's a guy devil triggering. It makes a very iconic sound. There, another guy did it. He's running away from me. Am I going to do the charge X? Oh, no, I'm not. I say X when X is technically jump, but on the, on the Xbox controller it's square. So, one more of these things and then 2 more Kiners. Which apparently, if you Google search the word Kiner, it's in reference to Cain from Cain and Abel, and that wonderful story of brothers that didn't get along so well, which is kind of an interesting anecdote. And there's more of these douches. I have full Devil Trigger as well. I should have been using Devil Trigger moves. I should have been just using Devil Trigger to pull 2 people into the sky with me, and uh-oh, that was a mistake. Look at that! Wow! Don't ever grab on the ground, guys. If you grab on the ground, you're in trouble. And that's the reason why I only grab in the air. It takes one mistake and I nearly threw everything away. I don't know why I did it. It had to have been a mistake. And if it was intentional, I'm a lunatic. There's no reason to do what I did there. Maybe I was trying to do the knuckle or something. Very bad idea. Which I should really be doing, the bring a knuckle, but I forget to do it. That just then was me getting stuck in an animation and I couldn't cancel out of it. That I can be okay with. That's a mistake on my part, but I understand it. The previous one was just lunacy. And then we've got a couple more Antinoras. That one hasn't devil triggered though, which is cool. He still has the ability to do the Bane bullshit though, which you can parry if you want to. Two features that are quite risky but will increase your style: parrying and doing table hopper. One way of doing a pretty decent strategy at the beginning of a fight is to use table hopper and taunts to get your style up quite high before you start fighting. That way when you do moves, you will be able to immediately get to those higher echelons of points. But this game doesn't allow you to have the points on the screen, which I really hate. In Devil May Cry 4, you always knew if you were doing shit or if you were doing good. You knew what moves did what, you knew what meant what. You knew what to use to do the thing you were looking for. In this game, you had a fucking clue. It's so stupid. That game is 10 years old, and it did style better than this one. Why? That's the stuff that really irritates me. I'm all for creativity, and I'm all for mixing it up, so I'm glad that they tried something new, but they fucked up, and it's shit, and they should make it better, and I hope they do. I really do. That was some fun frame rate just then. So on the escalator problem, I'm going to run up here and get rid of all the mushrooms by shooting them once. Then once I've shot them, if the auto-aim stops focusing on the death scissors, I'm going to lower the kiners and the scissors down to the area where we fought the previous guys. If you do this, it's safest, but it's also slow. I'm not entirely certain what speed does to ranking in this game, because I personally feel like it doesn't do anything unless you're using the trainer. So here's a little bit of interesting testing that I've done, which I just find to be mind-bogglingly stupid. If you fight a Fury, and you kill him as he spawns, you will get your rank up to about A or S, depending, and he'll die instantly, and you'll probably get like 3,000 points, which is shit, if you didn't know. If you put the trainer on, shoot him, kill him instantly with one hit kill, don't even get a D rank, you will get 400,000 stylish points, and you will have had the S 1,000,000 times over. Why? What is the difference? I just don't understand. The only difference I can think of is the amount of hits. The grab does like 6 hits and then kills him. The gun does 1 shot and kills him. The only thing I can think when it does that is that there is a ridiculous time bonus for killing enemies quickly. But we know this isn't the case because you can kill Furies instantly and they don't give you a benefit. But if you kill them in 1 touch, you get this preposterously ridiculous, unrealistic, impossible amount of numbers. And it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Like, how the fuck do you get 400,000 style points for shooting an enemy? I don't understand. Bizarre, right? Because here's the thing that gets me with the multiplayer. I think the less enemies you fight in an encounter, the more of a multiplier you should get, because you cannot get the same amount of points off of 3 enemies that you can off of 5. You can't do it. Unless you're milking and squeezing every single technical move you can to the nth degree of somebody that's been playing Devil May Cry games for years, it just doesn't seem feasible. This is a very intimidating fight as well, guys, because there's 2 of these. I don't know if a better idea in this room would be to take them down into the other part of the station, but I think they fence you in. If I could just turn the camera, I might figure this out, this conundrum, but I'm not going to do it. This is a low ceiling, if you're wondering too. Very low ceiling. Here we go, what are we doing? Combos on him. We've got the triple S, nice. There's the grab. Turn the camera, Chris, we want it. No, you can go back. I wonder if I come up here, I spawn these guys, and then I go back down the stairs, if they'll follow me. Because if they will, I can fight every single one of them, and it'll probably be a much better way of doing this. But as it stands, I'm just going to get all claustrophobic and hit them as best I can. And hope that my exceeds are a little bit better than they seem to be at the moment. But you might wonder too, Chris, why don't you shoot people in the air? If you shoot them with a gun, it can make them freeze and you can do all kinds of different combos with them that way. That's very true, but I'm always charging the gun, so I never get to do it. If I was going for style, I wouldn't be charging the gun and I'd be able to do that, but I'm kind of not. When I play Nero, I'm more of a guy that plays for just kind of brutal efficiency. And I just wish that I could do some of the Devil Trigger moves right now, because they would help so much, but the input is so awkward. Another thing that had been hindering me recently that I never had a problem with the other day, you know the move what you use in SDT with Dante that cancels into that combo when you press square and triangle or whatever buttons you've got mapped to do it? When you press them both at the same time and he goes into that weird animation where he just attacks and then detonates? I can't do that move anymore. I had no problem with it since the game launched, and right now I just can't seem to do it, to cancel into it at the end. He just swings a few times and then he stops and I look silly. That was a good fight. That was a really good fight. That got us to 6,100 points. That means, right now, if I die, if I can hold this average, we have a free S rank. And luckily, I don't think I'm going to die. But there's a really, really good phone here, which tells me you should use all of your arms on that fight, or on the fights before it, to get as many points as you can, because you can replenish them all now. And usually, I'm going to edit these moments out, but for this one, I'm going to show you what I end up going with. So, I throw an Overture on. I'm going to throw I throw a Ragtime on. I throw Gerbera on. I throw the Buster on. And I'm going to do the same, I think. Some combination of the same. Gerbera again. Punchline. Really? There we go. Ragtime. Breaker. And then Rawhide. And I end up using the Rawhide at the end. I wanted to test whether or not I'd be able to pull the Nilo Angelo guy with Rawhide to see if it would be effective. It wasn't. But here we go, guys. We can move through the calm before the storm. So everything we've done up to this point, 16 minutes of playing, has been the easy part. The 16 minutes we've just done, I think is really fun, and I like this level a lot. It's one of my favourites. The fight coming up, I don't like at all. This fight is really, really, really frustrating. And it's all due to Nilo and his Devil Trigger. If you deal with him the way you should, and the way you can, you get rid of him super fast, you'll probably have a fun time here. If everything Devil Triggers and you're just not doing the right things, this gets really hard really quick. So, it is a squadron of these knights with their chief commander, and I begin by charging Ragtime, charging Gerbera, and now I'm going to try and breaker him, and it doesn't work, so I'm going to stun him, and now I'm going to charge the breaker and do it in midair. And I miss, because I suck. And I'm actually doing it to the wrong guy right now, because I've got confused, which is really sad. This is one of those moments where I just feel the shame. Feel the fucking shame. How did I do that? So, my strategy didn't work. I'm going to try again to get this guy, and I got him. And I'm going to get hit doing this, but it's worth the damage. The damage on this is so worth it. But even then, if you look at him when I lock on, if I ever do that, you'll notice that he really does not have the damage you think he would have on him. More Gerbera to kind of farm some style points up. Is that him? That is him. God, if only I could hold this motherfucker and kill him. Ragtime, Chris, hold Ragtime. Am I holding Ragtime? Oh, I got hit. That's not good. I was holding Ragtime and he broke it. Shit. So right then I tried to activate my Devil Trigger to launch him so that I could hit him with the Buster again. It didn't work. And he's Devil Triggered, which means now this is going to go bad. So, the moment he Devil Triggers, I just kind of accept that I fucked up and I try and focus on his friends. So all I'm going to do is take these guys as high as I can and then attack them and stay out of his reach. If he hits me, I'm dead. You cannot get hit by this guy. He's ridiculous. And this, look how cool this environment is too. I love this kind of faux Shakespearean theatre setup. It's really cool. But there's the breaker on this dude, just to test the damage. And now we've got Rawhide, and V's dead. So instead of this wonderfully epic cult battle now, it's now every motherfucker on the planet attacks Nero at the same time. But I get that guy, get the double S. This is the problem that you're going to face right now too. You can only grab these knights from behind because they'll shield it from in front. And the problem is, if you grab Nilo by accident, you'll go to him instead of bringing him to you. And when you go to him, he can hit you. The amount of times when I was doing my other runs and they failed, it's because I tried to grab one of these guys, I grabbed Nilo by accident, and I didn't do the right recovery, and he hit me for incredible damage. But if you've never used Rawhide before, it's really interesting because it has this super active, spinny move that you can time your button presses to do additional combos with. But additionally, if you stun an enemy, you can pick it up regardless of how big it is. So if I were to knock Nilo into a state where you can grab him with the leash, I'd be able to Rawhide him into the sky. Same with the Queen Empuses. You can lift the Queen Empuses when you daze them, which is just bafflingly silly but wonderful at the same time. And then if you charge this weapon, it does a really, really cool grab that I'm going to do on the big guy later on. But I've lost style because I keep getting hit. So right now, I'm hurting my average a ton because I'm just not doing the right things. And there it was! The first time you see me do the move, and I miss. I was feeling ballsy because I felt like my performance was terrible, and I wanted to reset and do it again. So I went for the all or nothing, and I missed. That was really disappointing. One of the problems I have with this game as well is I let go of lock-on while in mid-air, and when you do that, it leads to even more shenanigans with lock-on than you should have. Because I'm so used to Bayonetta's aerial combo system, which is, in my opinion, much better than this game when it comes to how the lock-on is governed. And it just makes me sad that Capcom haven't made it better, you know? Like, I understand that they want you to hold lock-on a lot, but they should also make it so that you don't have to, you know? Games have figured out how to do this, and they've done it very elegantly. But that was a bad mistake as well. I got lucky then. We got the double S, and he keep grabbing the wrong guy! Fuck you! This guy, there we go. This guy will work. I should be doing roulettes. I don't know why I'm not doing them. My timing on the exceeds has just died. Have you noticed that? That happens a lot for me. There are times when I'm really good, and then there's the times I can't buy an exceed. I couldn't haul myself in the red light district for 5 pence to get an exceed right now. It's interesting, isn't it? There's all those hits and it's just doing nothing. All those hits, absolute shit. And I'm scared to grab these guys because it's such a long animation. If I don't knock them down before I do it, there's a chance that they're just going to mess me up while I'm in it. There we go, we got back up to that. Oh my god, what am I doing? Oh, there we go, that was okay. Need to be very careful of this guy. He has a quarter HP left. We've only been fighting now for like 10 minutes. Here we go. But if you can survive this, and you have over 6,000 style, this S rank is yours. Like, even if you do really shit on this fight, like I'm doing right now, you're still going to get the S. And I was kind of frustrated with this video because it was the first fight of the day, so I hadn't had a chance to really warm up with Nero, and I felt like I was just not playing very well. But the good part about it is if I can do it not playing very well, then hopefully it should give you faith that you can get it done if you're not playing very well too. I can't hit anything right now. It's interesting how that, if you let it run fully, it knocks them back. This is scary. I was going for the parry just then. But alas, I missed. But you see what I mean when I say that this guy just completely ruins the game in his balance? Does anybody think that this man should take this much damage? This much like that? I don't know why I said it that way. This is a lot of damage for one enemy. Admittedly, I'm not doing the best combos, I'm not doing the best exceeds, I'm not doing all the crazy stuff you can do in this game, but I just feel like this is fucking excessive. I feel like it's so fucking excessive, I don't understand. Like, look at how much that did not do. It's bizarre. It completely ruins the flow of the game. And this game already has really bad pacing, so then to throw this motherfucker at you with this kind of HP pool, that right then was very close, nearly died. You have to be so careful. I would never recommend using the pull when he's even remotely close because it could just lead to bad places. Like right now I can't exceed at all. There we go, finally. I found one. I probably bought that one. Don't fuck with me. Keep the camera off him so he doesn't come too close, and he's bang next to me, which is terrifying, but then he runs away. And now I'm going to charge the rawhide on him. And hit him when he's stunned. There. Oh, it missed. I'm just doing normal rawhide stuff. Interesting. So, if you have Gerbera right now, you can use Gerbera to parry his swings, and it's not difficult to time, and it's one of the most effective ways of fighting this enemy. But the problem with him is, you're going to need to know and see what he does for when you fight him with Dante. Because with Dante, unless you use Faust, he takes a lot of damage there as well. He's just a dickhead, really. I think my main grievances with this guy is not necessarily that he is so tanky, it's that he can block. Like, don't give this guy 10 million HP and then let him block everything. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's just mind-boggling to me. But we got him, thankfully. That took so long. And there we go. 1.2 multiplier. S rank, ooh! Thank you for watching. Good luck at the end there. It is definitely annoying. And you take care now.